Hi, welcome to Business Insights. My name is Tony Loop, and I am here to talk about social media. Social media is what word of mouth was, and then applied to the internet. So you got word of mouth advertising and the instant messaging, chat features, all combined, and that is social media. You can end up with huge reviews and people telling people and telling other people and just multiplying out, bringing business in much easier to do on the B2C type of business, as you can add, you do the things like the coupons and the other types of things. The industrial marketing, B2B marketing, social media isn't huge yet. And social media is not really huge in small business. And I think the fear is that you could sink tons and tons of money into social media. You could set up the Twitter accounts, you can do the SlideShare, the Facebook accounts, Facebook pages. You can even bring up the old practically dead horses like MySpace. If you're international, there are different sites, and there's different ones for specific industries. Upworld, I think FacilityNet is another one. They're out there. I think it's important if you actually look at what your business model is and what your goals are, to be for a small business to be able to invest in social media. I think the marketing channel has to mature enough, especially in industrial marketing. It has to mature enough so that some type of case studies can be presented to outline, to give that blueprint, a very basic blueprint of what can be done and what type of a return can be expected. You talk about the ROI, and it's just like SEO. SEO, search engine optimization, is not a golden ticket, and it's one of the most difficult things to measure in the world. Some people say, well, it's not. Okay, but for a small business, if they spend 10 grand and you come back with a report that says they went from, on the SERPs, they went from the search engine result pages, if they went from position 8 to position 4, you know what that means? Nothing. That does not mean revenue increase. That does not mean more leads came in. It doesn't mean anything. So what has to happen is there has to be clear and defined metrics. You can talk about an increase in page views, an increase in web leads. A web lead, someone who comes in the internet, fills out a comment form, and that is specifically tracked like that. After the sales cycle, you can then look back and say, yes, that lead came in here, and we increased leads 10%. Now, so 10% of the increased sales, which you would expect. All right. For example, let's do it this way. You do one full year of business. Now, or your normal sales cycle. You normally get 2 leads per week. You spend $10,000 and you end up getting 4 leads per week now. That's great. If this through the sales cycle, 1 lead per week was a sale. 50%, you close on 50% of the deals. Now you're getting a 25% close. That means you got more leads, but they weren't any good. All right, so your ROI sucks. Now, if you're still closing 50% and you got those leads, well, then obviously you doubled it. That's great. And this is measurable. It really is, and it's the same with social media. As long as you ask, when someone comes to your website and they request information, and no one says anything, If you have specific links on Facebook pages that take to a specific landing page, and that specific landing page has a form, a fill-in form, and that fill-in form is a very specific subject when you receive it, and it says Facebook landing page, a Facebook campaign landing page. Therefore, this person went to Facebook. That's where they saw you. You put the referrer in the bottom. Hey, did one of your friends on Facebook tell you about this page? Give us their name. We'll send them something, whatever it is, a $5 Starbucks card or whatever. And that can be factored into the cost of the marketing program. So you can measure the ROI on social media. It's very possible. Twitter, Twitter can be used simply as a SEO tool. And that's why I group together SEO and social media. They should be grouped together. It really is. Social media, when you're blasting out, like I belong to all these sites. When I do a press release, I want that press release on every single one of those sites, and I want it twittered, and I want retweets to build up what the search engines find regarding that specific link or that page or that press release or whatever. And the idea generally is that the more you can promote it, the better it's going to help you. And as SEO works with very specific keywords, and they define the path. Okay, we've defined these are the keywords people are looking for. Okay, we want to take them from the search to the page, from the page to the form, from the form to the salesperson. The salesperson then calls and makes a sale. And that's the same thing with social media. You want someone to tell somebody else, and then that someone else will come back and fill out the form and everything else, and you can make that cycle, and you can do it. And it has to be done systematically, and it has to be done analytically. You have to have the system in place. You have to define the paths. You have to define what point in the path are you measuring? What are the milestones? What is the end goal? And then you look at the cost per lead, and you can work backwards. Also, you have to review the data. You have to review the data, and you have to review it. You have to put those milestones, the milestones down for yourself when you review that data, and you can compare it to what it was without. And it's not easy to implement. Okay, that whole process is time consuming. So I don't think for a small business they're going to be able to afford the right people in order to do that, where they will get the ROI, a measurable ROI, and they're going to be happy with the service. And this is what I'm trying to tell people is that, a big company like Microsoft, they could throw $1 million at a problem and say, here, okay, and you can spend $1 million, and they could take a chance easy. And a small company can't do that. A small company does 10 grand, and you don't get a return on it, and they get, that's a lot of money to a small business. So when small business, it's so much more difficult for the experts and for the companies involved in marketing for the small businesses to be able to do this. And sometimes it takes a long time to build that presence. So the recommendation, the takeaway here, is that you have to manage the expectations. If you want to say, hey, I can do all this great work, it's going to be however much, and that ROI, and you can give reports all day long, but if all the reports are fluff about visitors and page views, it means nothing to the small business owner who only wants to see an increase in sales. So manage those expectations. You have to be able to say, look, this is what you can realistically expect. This is what we will be able to measure, and this will be. But it's going to be very, time consuming. It's going to cost. But if you see the return here, once the process is in place, then you will be able to expand it and build upon it and increase that ROI. So I think that's why I'm going to go back to the case study, the measurements, and the process. Process is key. In a well-developed, duplicatable process for social media for a small business, I think is gold. That's my opinion. That's Business Insights, social media. Thank you.